Hi, besties. Thanks for joining today. I have a new guest. I know you've heard of her, Jenny Blaze from Bravo and Blaze. You've seen her social media accounts. And if you haven't listened to her podcast, go listen to it. I'm going to link it in the show notes. Jenny, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Listen, y'all, I finally sent her a message on Instagram and I was like, so what the hell does a bitch have to do to get you on my podcast? And she was like, okay, I hear you. I will join you finally. And we've
It
just
cut
been
out again.
it's okay. So y'all, we're having some tech issues. Sometimes this setup it kind of cuts out a few times. But we should be good unless I
Okay.
completely go away. Yeah, Jenny and I've been DMing and talking about BravoCon, which I know y'all are tired of hearing me talk about it, but I'm not gonna stop for another 3 months at least.
Years.
Probably. Better be years for
I'm
how much?
Yeah, for how much we're spending. I'm still recovering from last year's.
And this is Vegas. Oh my God.
I know. I'm nervous but excited. I also want to try to not get too excited because when you get in there, I don't think you can really help it if you're like a true fan because it's sensory overload. Everything is like overstimulation. You see all your favorites walking around. I think the first people I saw last year were Tom and Tom from Vanderpump Rules. And I was dying laughing. Like I was just kind of observing while people were screaming in their faces at like 9 a.m.
Oh my God. No.
And it was so funny because Tom Schwartz was so on brand. They were trying to go somewhere, but he couldn't because everyone's like, Tom. And he's like, he would stop for every single person.
Right.
And they're like, can I take a picture real quick? And, he would, of course, because he can't
Yeah.
say no. And I was just dying laughing. It was
Oh
just
my
too
God.
funny.
I'm overwhelmed thinking about it because also it's like you don't want to get, and I said this on a previous episode, like you want to be excited, but don't get your expectations set that you're literally going to be sipping champagne with Kenya Moore at like a table. You know what I mean?
Wait,
You could
but
be.
time out. I did sit next to Kenya Moore and I was not even aware of it. Like this was the wildest part of my whole BravoCon experience. It was after the Andy's Legends Ball, which was the first Watch What Happens Live recording on that Friday night.
Right.
I was planning to go home. I was planning to go to sleep, wake up early, be the first one at BravoCon the next day. But then my friends convinced me to go out. And then next thing you know, I'm standing literally, there's no one in between us, me and Andy Cohen, locked eyes, and I
Daddy?
froze. Yeah, exactly. I didn't know what to do. He wasn't making the first move. I didn't know what to do. So I just turned around.
I I so feel your pain. Oh my God. I feel your pain. Like,
But yeah, I was sitting next to Kenya by accident. I didn't know because I love Chanel Ayan and she was
yeah.
there. And her and I have spoken many times, on DMs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I saw her earlier that day because I got a picture with her. And I didn't think she would even know who I was, but she was like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh my God, she remembers me. So I saw her again and, she was like, come sit. And I didn't even know I was sitting next to Kenya Moore. But I didn't even say hi or anything because I was so focused on Chanel Ayan, and I started to sob.
No, you didn't.
Yes, this is like
Daddy,
the most crazy moment of my life because don't forget, okay, I did not know I was going to go to this, and I don't drink alcohol.
Right.
Mushrooms are decriminalized in New York.
Okay.
And so I took some at Andy's Legends Ball, which was 4 hours long. And I was like, I was having a great time.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that sometimes when you take shrooms, I mean, I do know this. I did know this, but in hindsight, I got very emotional when I saw Chanel Ayan, not expecting to, or like, I just couldn't control it.
my
Eddie,
god.
Martinis with Eddie was there.
Oh, yes,
It's
we
like
love Eddie,
staring at
yes.
us like, I don't even know what he was thinking. But then
I'm sure Eddie was like, "What the fuck is wrong with
yeah, I was like,
her?"
oh my God, this is the most mortifying thing ever. But thankfully, you know what saved me? Jen Shaw crashing BravoCon is what saved me because she walked in, made eye contact with Chanel Ian. I'm sobbing. They go, and start dancing. And I'm just like, what is happening? I stand up. I somehow lock eyes with Jen Shaw, even though she's wearing sunglasses at night.
They're piercing eyes.
But she had on a fur. It was so hot in there, or this big Gucci fur, which I don't know if it's real or not. I think it was real because I put my arm out. She threw the Gucci fur over my arm while she's dancing. And I was just like, am I in heaven? Or
Or did I
is
just
this
turn
a
into a coat
dream?
rack?
Yeah. I voluntarily did this.
Oh, you were
So
ready. You were like, "Please."
well, it was like instinctual. I didn't like when can you imagine? I never expected to be in it like that. So
Right.
when it was happening, I'm like, what? Oh my God.
How? Like, where am I?
Yeah, it was surreal.
You're like, "Are the shrooms really that good?"
Yes. And you know what else happened that night? So I'm second guessing everything that happened that night because I was shrooming. But
Sure.
for 1 second, I swear Heather Gay and I made eye contact and I thought she was going to like come over and start yelling at me or something because I did an interview with her former employee slash bestie who
Oh.
was also friends with, who is still close friends with Jen Shaw, who used to be her old assistant. And now he's like running her social media, but he's still close friends with them. Merlo
Oh,
Bueno. He was
I
on the
wouldn't
show
know.
like season 1.
Jen Shaw
But
blocked me.
he had oh really?
I
But
don't
he
even
had a
know.
falling out with Heather and he like let out all this tea on my podcast. So I
Really?
didn't know if she heard it or not. And I swear, I was like, I don't know if it's the shrooms or like, is Heather Gay going to beat me up?
Like, am I
And
getting
so I just
paranoid?
like hid a little bit. But then I found out later on she did listen to it. And so I don't think I made that up. I think that
Okay.
was real.
So that was a real moment.
Yeah.
At least that's validating your experience that
And
you
I had a
had.
moment with Shep too, going back
You
to
did
Southern
tell
Charm.
you
And I
started
met
to tell me
Catherine
about that.
Dennis. Oh my God. She is gorgeous and so tall. Love
I
her.
have heard that she is literally like Catherine. She walks in a room and she is very much a presence. Love her or hate her, she is a presence when she walks in the
She
room,
was
is all I've
so
heard.
sweet.
Was
Like
she?
so nice. Yeah. You know how like when you meet another female
Yeah.
sometimes, and especially if like that other female you can tell is like confident, like
Yeah.
sometimes there's a weird tension and then other times there's like that girl to girl
Yeah.
combativeness is not there at all. Like I didn't feel any of that with her and I just
Oh,
love
that's
that so
nice.
much.
I like to hear that because, it's funny. Y'all have all heard me say this a million times, but maybe Jenny hasn't. I used to do beauty pageants and competed in the same system in Oklahoma that, Rachel competed in, the USA system. And so
Oh
that's
my God.
what's funny is that a lot of people think that pageant girls all are like claws out, hissing in a corner at each other. But that really it teaches you doing that to not allow any type just because someone's pretty or you feel that they're prettier than you or they have something physically or anything going on better than you, it doesn't mean you have to be mean to them. You can make a friend
Yeah.
out of it because you are surrounded by gorgeous people. And so it's like, what am I going to do? Be an asshole to every single one of these women? No. And you make some of the greatest friends. And that's where, like I really learned to just be like, okay, I can be intimidated and still make a friend with someone. And that's something that's really important, I think, for girls, women, especially like the younger we are to learn,
Mhm.
like, hey, it's okay. You can think someone is prettier than you. They may be or they may not be. It's all subjective. But that having that kind of camaraderie with someone where it's like, hey, we're in the same space. We can just be nice to each other and be chill. I love that. I like hearing
Yeah.
that. That's I
Yeah.
it's we hear all the stories about someone being a complete dick, basically. And so sometimes it's just nice to hear like a good story about someone being nice, you know?
And
Feel
I'm
good
always
stuff.
rooting for Catherine. Like, she has such a bad rep, and she's very
Mhm.
polarizing. Some people really love her, really hate her, and like, I just either way, like as another female watching what we watched from Catherine's first season, you know that I didn't even really watch season 1 until back in the day. If you remember, they used to
Mhm.
play the new shows over and over again. Like, they
Yeah.
didn't play Below Deck all day long.
Oh my
And so
god.
that was a really good strategy, because it really did get me like hooked on
Mhm.
other shows, because I would
Yeah.
just have it like playing in the background, but then I'd be like, wait a minute, why is there a
What just happened?
baby crying at the reunion, or what, or after the reunion or finale? I don't know. That's
Yeah.
when I was like,
Mhm.
WTF, I need to start this from the beginning. Thank God they're doing marathons all day long. And
Yeah.
so watching Catherine from season 1, and I'm mad that she's not on it anymore. Like, justice
It
for Catherine.
I think she'll
I
come
just,
back.
and I didn't know this till recently. I hope she comes back. But
Mm.
I just found out like last year that Whitney, Patricia's son, is an executive producer.
He created the show.
I didn't know this until recently, and it like changed
Yeah.
something in my stomach, where I was like,
Yeah.
hold up,
Yeah.
this changes everything.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me that Whitney, the guy who was sleeping with Catherine when she was still a teenager, like 19 years old,
There you go.
he was like, what, 40 something at the time? He started this show, brought her on,
Mhm.
and then watched his friend when she,
Who's even older than him.
yeah, yeah, who has like a record and everything. Um, like,
I mean,
we
T-Rav
watched
is
him like emotionally, psychologically abuse her for years, and we all just watched it. And
Mhm.
now, like, going back thinking about how Whitney was involved in the creation of this, it makes
Mhm.
it even more sick. And then like throwing Patricia into it, like, I know a lot of people like Patricia, but after finding out that Whitney was an executive producer, I was like, hold the f up.
Yeah, he's a director. There I forget the name of the movie. He had directed at least I want to say 2 movies before this. And yeah, he created the entire show and pitched it to Bravo. And so he conceptualized the whole thing. Um yeah, it's pretty wild when you know that. It changes a lot. And I'm
And
okay.
Naomi.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So what?
Uh-huh.
They're not hooking up anymore. So she's not on the show. What's that all about?
Isn't that a great question? I wondered the same thing. Um that that whole thing was incredibly bizarre to me. Like, we really
Everything.
are supposed to believe that I'm sorry, but Naomi is stunning. Okay.
Yeah, stunning.
She can be kind of an asshole, but she is stunning. Okay. Like,
Yes.
she can get rich men her own age, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be an
Doesn't she have her
ageist.
own money too?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Matul thing really messed her up, as it would anybody.
Yeah.
That was like, that was kind of like a scandal in a way,
Yeah.
a little mini one. But I think she was so broken after that, and out of desperation, she went to Whitney, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she admitted it, right? She said she like begged to be back on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, she did. Yeah. From what I remember, that it was basically those words. But I mean, I don't really feel like we necessarily need Naomi on the show. I don't. I miss Catherine more than I miss Naomi, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate it if
It's
she
not
were
as,
back on the
I
show.
didn't even really notice.
Mm-mm. No,
I'm not trying to be mean towards Naomi, but I
no,
honestly like didn't even think about it till like last week. I was like, wait a minute,
no.
where's Naomi?
Right? Well, I mean, listen, I guess like my Naomi, she has great fashion. I like seeing what she wears.
Mm-hmm.
But now we've got Paige for that, to be honest.
Ooh. We
So
also have Madison.
mm-hmm. Oh my God,
I'm
Madison
so
Ress
here
is
for
so cute.
Madison.
Listen, I hate to admit it, but yes, Madison is like everything. Because she's been
I love
slightly
her.
problematic, but I'm
I'm
just like,
obsessed with her.
she's so good.
Oh
God.
my gosh. Last year at BravoCon, I saw her. I was like on a lot of adrenaline, obviously.
Oh
I
yeah.
saw her went up to her. I was like, oh my gosh, Madison, you're my favorite girl on the show. Austen is a predator. Shep and Shep and Austen are both creeps. She's like, yes, they are. And then like we took a picture, and that was it.
She's another one that she is hot as hell. Oh my God. She's like
Oh
a
my gosh, she's
different
amazing.
version of Jessica Simpson.
I know, like dare I say, a better one.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. And because her attitude is funny, I'm also like here for it. So we're covering 2 episodes, y'all, because I've been trying to play catch up. I was under the weather last week, as you all know. So I'm just gonna start with, we had our most recent episode, which was in Vino Veritas, and then I forget the name of the one before it, so bear with me. Oh, maybe it was He Said, She Said, right? How I pulled that out, I don't even know. I need to talk to someone about this this scene with JT. I was like, oh, cute. He's calling his mother, and we do find out, he has type 1 diabetes. And then he calls his mother mommy over and over.
I didn't catch
Mommy.
that.
He says to her after we find out, that he invests and develops real estate, and his mother does the interior design, and he's got all these Airbnbs all over Charleston, and that's why Charleston has become his home, his hub now. And I mean, he's literally saying to his mother, quote, "I'd do anything to be in Virginia on a cold, rainy day with Poppy Seed, the puppy, in my lap, and my mommy just to give me all the ibuprofens I need all day with some nice mommy snack plates." What?
I don't know why I didn't catch that. Maybe like I thought he said it in a joking way, because no grown ass man says mommy, right?
He said it like 8 times.
Oh my God, how did I like not catch on to that? That's disturbing.
Listen, I'm from Oklahoma. In the South, it's normal to, even as an adult, male, female, call your parents mama and daddy, or mother, but mommy, I can't get over it. I'm just like, and because he also was saying, oh, the mommy son project. This is a great mommy son project. It was just over and over and over with the mommies. And then Shep and Craig go to get pedicures, and I just wanted to remind everyone why Craig has the blue nail polish on one finger. So he's a supporter of the New York Center for Children, which partners with the quote unquote polished man. It's a campaign to raise awareness and funds for victims of child abuse. So, hey, that's like a nice thing that we can say here. The nail tech was incredible. She gave 0 fucks, making sure that Shep had no ingrown nails. But he's like, I have cracked heels. And she's like, well, thank God we don't have to fix it. It's like, girl, you tell them, put them in their place. Shep has quite the fragile masculinity with wearing clear nail polish to go pheasant hunting. We can't murder animals with stuff on our nails. God, Jenny, don't you know?
Like, that's so Sandoval. Like, can't walk around with a chip manicure.
Oh my God, I swear. I do. We've just been getting inundated with more Sandoval lately too. Like,
okay, side note, Special Forces is my favorite show right now because it's like beyond scared straight for celebrities and reality stars.
It's good.
And we need that. We need that with Sandoval right now.
Yeah.
Because need to see him get berated.
Well, because he can't totally act his way out of it in those extreme conditions. I think that's why it's so good to watch, because we've seen his melodramatics and the histrionics of just overdoing it all the time. He's always so forced with his drama that like he's just stripped the fuck down, and that's, y'all, it's worth a watch. It really is. Yeah, it's interesting. And even like if you live with, the straight males in a home with you, they may not hate having that on the way they'll sometimes bitch about these shows. So there you go. They bitch about these shows and then they ask questions about it, right?
I found it interesting though, not to spoil anything, but somebody who left was this like big tough guy,
Mm-hmm.
and we're seeing, how these straight big macho men, how they
Mm-hmm.
act, and I
Yeah,
just find it interesting.
it is
I'm kind of
interesting.
a man hater right now, if you can't tell.
It's okay. Listen, men are always doing something, okay? They always have the audacity to fucking do something at all times. So you're fine. I really find no issue with this. Okay, so they do start talking. Shep and Austen are talking about how Shep and Craig. I don't know why. See, this is something else that I do. I just forgot her name again. Her podcast is Everybody's Business But Mine, but she said about OC that Gina's name should be Emily and Emily's name should be Gina
I do that all the time. Yes, I switch those names.
because that's what their names should be. And now I am getting Austen and Craig mixed up because now I'm like, no, but they're definitely an Austin and a Craig, but I'm just, okay, sorry, friends.
They're
There
both
are a lot of names.
equally F boys.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think Craig is like the reformed fuck
Yeah,
boy at
he's
this point.
becoming reformed. I always liked Craig, even though he had a bit of F boy in him, until I found out one day, out of the blue. I don't even post about Craig. I don't talk to him. I don't tag him.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even write his name. And somebody sent me something that was his post, and it said, like, you cannot see this or whatever. I was like, who the hell is that? And they're like, Craig Conover. I was like, wait a minute. Are you telling me Craig Conover went out of his way to block me, who I've never talked to him in my life? Like, that's insane.
That's the way I felt about Jen Shaw blocking me. I didn't even say anything about her. I just was saying how much I liked Lisa Barlow in my Instagram stories. Didn't say shit about Jen Shaw, and she blocked me.
Wow.
Or else, what would be interesting? I thought of this the other day. I almost wonder if she had one of her troll accounts that she was on. Cause sometimes if someone's like going too hard and I feel like they're not like, because if someone disagrees with me, I'm not going to block them for disagreeing with me. Like, my
Right.
God. Because sometimes it's good to add dialogue in the comment section. But I wonder if there was like a troll account and I put block any accounts that they make. So I randomly thought about that the other day. What if it was me that blocked Jen Shaw and it was one of her troll accounts?
Oh my
Isn't that a great
gosh, that would
conspiracy?
be, yes, I love that conspiracy, because Lisa Rinna blocked me as well, and I've never talked about
She blocked
her.
all of us Bravo accounts. She blocked
Yeah,
every single one of us.
that's crazy. I mean, that actually made me feel bad for her, because I was like, clearly she's going through something, because I've never even talked to her. Like, this is a reflection of her, not on me. So hope she's doing all right.
I'm sure she's just fine dancing around and that. Okay, we're not talking about her. No, not talking about her house, not doing it. Um, it's brought up that I guess multiple girls that Craig had dated, Austen would sleep with them afterward, and Shep says that happened as well. But Shep brings up Chelsea. I don't recall Chelsea and Shep having as much of a thing as she and Austen did. Because it didn't read that way to me from my memory. I only really it felt like Shep was
I
interested and
remember.
she wasn't that. Yeah.
I remember it, and but it like kind of went over, like I kind of brushed it off, because I'm like, this is so on brand for all of them. They remember Catherine. Catherine is the perfect example in season 1. We knew right away
Yup.
their introduction to the Bravo world. Like, they showed us who they were. Craig was mad that Catherine didn't choose him, so he outed everyone who slept with her, pretty much. Shep slept with her. I mean, like, they all did, and this is not like, no shame to Catherine at all.
No,
Like,
none.
Catherine was single and young. She
Yeah.
could do whatever she wants. These men are
100%.
older. Like, Craig was the only age appropriate one at the time, I think.
Correct.
And even he was kind of like a little bit older too. But
Yeah.
they were all mad at each other and like taking it out on Catherine. And it's like, you guys are the ones who are dipping your pen in the same ink. Like, I don't know what to say.
That was a great way to say it. Yes. True. Well, and I think Shep must have taken, I don't know, because I remember Chelsea would cut his hair. She cut all of their hair. And Shep, I'm just going to let you know the shampooing of your hair and massaging your scalp and touching your head is part of the service. That was not her way of saying, I want to date you. So that does not mean you were dating. Because again, he was like saying that, oh, Shep left for a weekend and that's when Austen moved in. I do remember Austen having a conversation with Shep about it, but it was like, it wasn't this type of thing, right? I don't know. Listen, I am not that
I feel like
person.
it was more, they had more of a thing than Austen and Olivia, though. Like,
Yeah.
why does Olivia even give a crap about whether Austen and Taylor may have hooked up? Like, were they even dating? I don't even understand what is going on right now. It's so weird to me.
It was a little confusing. I don't think Austen gets exclusive with anyone except
No,
Madison, and even then he wasn't.
no,
So,
exactly. Madison,
mm,
Madison.
right? You're insane right now. So we go to Austin's house and those IVs. Now I was telling
Ugh.
I know you don't drink, but I am
No,
absolutely going to be looking into
I
these.
still want an IV, even though I don't
I
drink.
still want help.
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna need it because I didn't eat or sleep during BravoCon. I'm gonna need to do like whatever I can do to keep myself
Oh my
alive.
god.
Yeah, we have to
I'm going to
take
be
care of
delirious.
ourselves.
I'm going to be
Yeah,
delirious. Done.
yeah. There were many people I saw the next day. I was like, "How are you even here already?" And they're like, "I just threw up in the bathroom." I was
Ugh.
like, "Oh,
Oh. I'm like miserable thinking about it.
there aren't
uh,
there like hangover things you can take now, like
oh, they don't
supplements or
help
something?"
me. I
Oh,
have
really?
always been someone that if I'm getting a hangover,
You're
I get
getting
a
a hangover,
fucking hangover. And I am also,
so you
this is
need
so
an
gross.
IV.
Yeah, I'm going to have to with the Zofran and the Toradol. Oh my God. I mean, because I can't, like, I can count on my just two hands in my whole conscious life that I have vomited. And only one of those, no, two of those times were from alcohol. So I can't, like, and I've had my fair share, believe me. I am just one of those people that my body holds everything in and just says, you know what? You did this to me, so you shall suffer for
Oh,
another 24 hours. That's how long it takes for me to get over hangovers, a full 24 hours. I'm gonna be dead.
that's it.
Um,
I I would need like I can't drink at all. I'll go to the hospital, but I would
mm-mm.
need even when I used to drink, it would take me. Sometimes I feel it for like a whole week.
Oh my god. Well, that's if I drink liquor or something. I don't drink liquor because that's the thing is the drinks that they make with liquor, they make it to where you're not supposed to be able to taste it. And so they taste really good. And that's the problem is I'm like, oh, this tastes delicious. I'm just gonna sip, 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 sip. I'll take another one. It's like Heather Gay with the espresso martinis. So I
Would you pee yourself?
no. No. Oh my god, Jenny, I've
No shame if you
first of
have,
all,
because
peeing
I found
myself,
out a
I've
lot of
only done
people
that
do.
sober. Are you
Okay.
serious? Listen, I pushed out an 8.5 pound baby. You know what I'm talking
Oh
about
my
when you're
god.
still in the diaper.
Yes.
And all it took was me not knowing my bladder was full. This is such a cute podcast episode, friends. It is what it is. The women out
We
there
could talk
know.
about, yeah, we
And
could
once
talk
it
about that
starts,
stuff.
it doesn't stop. It does not stop. I remember I was like, oh, okay.
This is happening.
Fortunately, I at least haven't peed my pants this year. So that's good.
That is good. That is good.
He's two.
That's actually
So
impressive. If you know, you know.
yeah, it's literally. Um,
You must be
so-
doing like Kegels or something. That's pretty good. The whole year.
it's just peeing a lot. You're in luck because we're going to get back to this episode. Um, so, Taylor comes over to do the IV and like some self care, some eye patches with Austen. And she tells Austen about how she met this super hot guy when she was at Warehouse with Olivia. And he meets all three of her requirements. And her requirements are that one, he's funny, he's got to be smart, and he's got to love Jesus. So Taylor, you're standing in the club asking bros if they love Jesus. I'm just curious.
You know, someone messaged me today and said that Taylor has a new boyfriend and sent me a link. I didn't click on the link. I don't know if it's like official now, but my first question was, does he love Jesus?
The only question.
He better, because that was on the list.
Did she ever ask Shep that? Shep strikes me as someone who is like metaphysical.
Yeah,
He's
I thought it was hilarious when they were dating and he was all stressed out. They were on a trip or something. He was fighting with Austen. It was the same time when he was like, I can't believe I'm sharing the same air as you or whatever. And she's like, Shep, just do what I do. And he's like, oh, what's that? And she's like, pray. And his face immediately, like you could see it in his face. He just lost all hope. And it was like,
I mean, listen, we're not making fun of religion, okay? But I'm so sorry. Like just the juxtaposition of this woman thinking she was going to have babies with Shepherd Rose and
That's why I feel bad for Taylor, but then also I'm like, but should I feel bad for you? Because we all knew this, like everyone. And I don't know, has she ever said that like she didn't watch the show? Is she a Brittany Cartwright? Because there's no way.
Brittany watched the show.
Brittany watched the show, but she says she didn't.
I believe like no one except for maybe this new guy Rod, the Indian guy. I believe if he said he didn't watch the show, I would believe that. But I don't think there's anyone else. Like first of all, like JT has absolutely been watching the show and taking notes. He's been watching Lisa Rinna. He's been like just jotting it down. Okay.
Oh,
But Taylor, I don't listen. I think Taylor only stayed with Shep to stay on the show. There's no other like there's the part I'm sorry. Shep, there may be some parts of you that are great, okay? I'm sure you can be charming and kind if you I don't know. I'm trying. Okay.
He has some charisma. He definitely does. And that's what gets him. It's very like it's still very surface level. So he's able to get away with it with new people, but like the people you can't continue that with people who know you and see you on a show season after season. Like we know who you are now. And for anyone to come on the show, like Olivia, she had to have watched the show. And that's why I'm like, did she doesn't even go here. Like, did she even date Austen? I don't understand why. What is going on? And then she just gets this like huge ass house from her parents. Like, what is this bullshit?
Like,
I'm jealous.
My God. I was thinking the same thing and hops in a Mercedes at one point. Like,
but is it because she had to put a key in the ignition? And I have never used a key for an ignition in the last like 20 years or 15 years at least.
That's actually pretty fair. I had a Jeep in 2000 and what year was that?
Not
2015. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and it was but Jeep is kind of behind with that type of stuff. Like
or maybe like they try to be cooler, like we're rugged.
Yeah. We're vintage. Original. I shouldn't be making I was in a Jeep commercial one time and yeah.
I love Jeeps.
Yeah, I love Jeep. Oh my God, Jeep's my favorite. Just pay me the way you did for that commercial again, please.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it is a good car though.
Yeah, kind of. It's great. So, wow. Taylor asks Austen for his therapist. Austen has a therapist?
He does not.
She shouldn't be asking Austen for his therapist. You need to ask someone therapized for their therapist. Would you ask Austen for his therapist? I wouldn't.
I would ask to go talk to them and be like, why are you not fixing him?
Like, what are you two even doing? What are you doing with those 50 minutes? Just do something more.
It's probably
no. And so Austen brings up the bar crawl and how JT told Shep about her staying at Austen's. And in confessional, Taylor's like, we're single people. We can do whatever we want. Shep did whatever he wanted and he wasn't single. The justifications and the deflections never cease to end. Um, and she apparently didn't want anyone to know about her staying over. And Austen tells her also not to tell Olivia, which you guys do realize there are like 5 cameras on you right now. Like sometimes I'm like,
That's why
help.
Austen, I think, is like the biggest bitch. Like he causes the most drama and then tries to act coy the most, but also is like purposely putting the attention on himself at the same time. It's like, ugh, I can see right through it.
Totally. You know who I need to write a book on style, entertaining, and home decor is Vanita.
Yeah.
She's like effortlessly she just knows. That girl just knows what to do and how to do it. You know those people that I'm like, especially like when it comes to style, like I just have to look at what someone else is wearing. You and I have been talking about our BravoCon outfits back and forth, which y'all, okay, I'm enlisting anyone's help I can get because I'm not able to spend $900 on a pair of boots. Did you see the boots that Paige was wearing on Sheena's podcast? Oh my God.
I didn't
Obsessed.
see the boots, but I know exactly. Like I was just looking at the clip, and now I need to know.
Don't worry, they were like $800.
What were they?
I
What kind were they?
I don't know the brand. Are you serious? Like I know a lot of brands, but this brand I did not know. Yeah, they were a tall, kind of boxy Western boot, but without like a ton of the filigree on it. Oh my God. I was like, well, if I don't have those boots, I think I'm going to die. So I spent like half my morning Googling and I was like, cool. So every variation, unless I go to Target, which, you know, I could, but they're not the same. Anyway, if y'all find a dupe of those for under $300, I'm obsessed with them. I'm obsessed.
Look.
Yeah. I have the perfect shirt to go with it. Anyway, y'all don't care. I know you don't, but also go look at the boots because they were really freaking cute. Okay. They're definitely one of those like boots of the season type of things. Oh my God. And Taylor's dog Penelope, whenever I don't know why I had to make a note on this because Olivia shows up at Taylor's house and she's like, Penelope, congrats on being a woman. Penelope started her period. Oh my God.
She had a diaper on, right?
Mm-hmm. That happened on accident with our dog. We thought we still had like at least another month, and nope, we were on vacation. She started her period.
Oh my God,
poor thing. So Leva, Madison, and Vanita are talking about Taylor going ham at the wedding party and how they kind of need to help guide her. And in confessional, when Madison's like, I've been there. I mean, if anyone understands crazy, I think we know that's me. And we get the flashbacks of her just eviscerating Austen every moment of, you're a pussy, own it. I wish I don't know, the way Madison says, own it, like plays in my head a little too often. It's not the Roman Empire for me, but it's there a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like Jen Shaw's yes in the bathtub. If anyone asks me something and my answer is a resounding yes, it's a Jen Shaw in the bathtub yes.
Yes! Splash. So the girls are all just sitting and talking, and Olivia tells them about being at Share House where she was there with a guy and she saw Austen, and I guess Austen came up to her and was like, wow, Olivia, so funny seeing you here making out with a random guy at a bar. I just never took you for the AAA type. I had to Google what that means, just so you know.
You did.
I did. And for those of you who didn't know and don't want to Google, it's apparently the highest level of minor league before going to the majors. So there you go. It's a baseball guy. But when Madison was like, sorry, that's a trigger for him. We get the A-Rod flashbacks when that reunion where Craig was like
psychotic.
coke raging. I don't know
Yeah.
what else to call
Crazy. I'll never forget. She's like, fix your hair. You look
it.
crazy.
I mean, oh my
He was
God.
nuts. He was insane.
Yeah. I
Bad
mean,
shit.
I don't think we'd ever seen him that disheveled, like in that type of setting.
I loved watching it. It was, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it was tense. I remember being like, oh, this is a
Yeah.
lot. Like, now looking back, I'm like, oh my God, he was so unhinged and it was just so
Beautiful.
funny. Yeah.
Beautiful piece of art. But I have to say I do like how the girls handled Taylor in this situation. They weren't really, I don't feel like they were shaming her or trying to embarrass her, trying to let her know like this isn't your usual self. Like let's try and reel it in a little bit. There are a lot of other shows that they would not have handled her in that way. I compare Vanderpump Rules to Southern Charm a lot, and I don't think it would have gone down like that on, say, Vanderpump Rules. So it was I appreciated, the girls on the show, they tend to really be good about backing each other up. And I like that. I like it being girls against guys instead of just girls against girls. But that's going to change.
Well,
um,
also, how could anyone yell at Taylor
right?
or like say anything mean to her at all?
Um, she's just like this little wounded puppy, like a cartoon
Yeah.
puppy. Like that's what I was thinking about whenever she ends up talking to Olivia about that. It was like, I don't know, something about it. She knows that about herself, I think, to be honest.
Oh,
Um,
you think she uses it as
oh
like,
yeah. Oh
oh,
yeah.
especially in this new role, right? Her new job.
I think she uses
It's
that. Like,
been interesting to watch.
oh my God. As
It's funny actually now that I'm thinking about it, she's like a Jesus loving, like alcohol saleswoman. Right? That's her new role, right?
yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
kind of
no. Baby
strange.
doll, just try and go back to being an orthodontics assistant. Go get your
Yeah,
licensing
why
done
can't
again.
she?
My guess was that either it was conflicting with filming or it
Mm.
had to do with her licensing, just because if she took any time off. So when I used to be a licensed barber, and you have to renew that license every single year with the health department. And let's say she missed her renewal date, for example. And I'm like, if they're this
Gotcha.
strict with people who do hair, I would imagine they're probably stricter about, you know what I'm saying? And so once I missed my renewal date, I would have had to go back to school for 6 months and retake the health board exam, which
Oh,
is not that those barber boards, y'all. I went to the
dang.
best barber school you could go to, and I was the only person who passed the first time. I mean, yeah, I was like,
What is up with barbers? Like, this is
it's
a very
different.
prestigious
I mean,
and strenuous
I can't- what
like
the fuck?
title to get, it sounds like.
It's the only difference between a barber and a cosmetologist is barbers. We learned how to do straight razor shave. We learned a little bit more of the
Oh,
medical type of stuff, like not, you know, we're not
that
diagnosing
makes
shit,
sense.
but we had to be able to we had to take biology, like all of
You
that.
did?
Yeah, and we didn't learn how to do facials or nails or waxing or massage or anything like that. It was just hair color theory, cutting, perms, which fucking kill me. I never want to smell that again for the rest of my life. That was so disgusting. And straight razor shave, which is also slightly terrifying to do. Um,
That's
don't ask me to
like
do that.
dermaplaning, right? It's almost like
Kind of,
dermaplaning, no?
yeah. I mean, you want to make sure you're not going against the grain. You want to go across the grain of the hair growth. So, yeah, I have a lot of random knowledge. Okay.
Can you shave my face at BravoCon? Should I save it
Let me
until we see each other?
brush that face up with some nice warm shaving cream. I listen, I think, it'd be better if you need me to give you a
Yes.
blowout, I'm happy to do that.
Sorry, I can shave my own face.
Ye
I just started doing it like a year ago. And
Did
I
you?
always think of Caroline Manzo saying, "Yeah, I shave my face." And like now that I'm, over 40, I'm like that makes
Which
sense.
Listen, if that's what over 40 looks like from shaving your face, I'm going to go pick up a Bic as soon as we are done. So,
It's
it's working.
it's really nice. It's like a totally different feeling on your skin,
Mhm.
and I'm
See,
loving it. I don't love that Tom Sandoval does it too, but
well,
you know.
he's doing, like, the full razor. I assume you're doing, like, what's it called? Like, the
Like,
facial razor, like, the single.
yeah.
Mhm. I do skin cycling, which has helped my skin a lot, but, like, I noticed today sorry, I always move my part of the camera, like, when I'm recording with people so that I'm not sitting there. Because 'cause I'm sorry, you can't help but look at yourself if you're in front of yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I have to move it. So now I have to look over yeah, I don't know what's going on. My makeup's all weird, but yeah, skin cycling has been helpful, but maybe I
What
need
is
to try
skin
that.
cycling?
Mhm. It's where, you can do it one of 2 ways. I've been doing it for long enough that I do a more intense version now, but the first night, consider it like night 1. You use a chemical exfoliant, like I use Paula's Choice, the AHA. You can get it on Amazon. By the way, friends, I've got, like, all these Amazon lists in a storefront. If you ever wanna know any of the stuff that I use, basically everything except for half of the makeup I use is all available on Amazon.
Yes.
I'll share that link at some point. Yeah, I
Always
earn a
share
commission
that
off of
link.
it, but
Yeah, always share that link.
yeah, totally will. And you do that. It's a chemical exfoliant. Before bed, you don't, moisturize. The next night is when you use a prescription grade retinol. You can get that from like Nurix or I think does that one
I
like
just got
Wisp or
one
something? Yeah,
from
so
my
you do
dermatologist.
perfect. So then you use it that night. And then your next 2 nights are your recovery nights so that you don't get overly dried out. You
Yeah,
have to
you
be
want
sure
to
and use a lot of
hydrate
sunscreen.
and
Mhm.
moisturize.
Mhm. And then you
I
can
like
eventually
this.
get to the point where it's like, exfoliate night 1, night 2, retinol, night 3 is moisturize, and then you go right back to exfoliate instead of doing 2 recovery nights. Um, but I like it because you don't get that
Ah,
peeling and tightness that, like, is
yeah.
so intense using it every night. And that way I'm not I'm not running out of my product immediately, and I like to bring it all the way down to the chest because, honey, that's everybody forgets.
Yes, people
Mm,
do forget. It's the
mhm.
decolletes
Yep,
or decollete, whatever it's called.
absolutely. Lots of sunscreen too. Sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. Especially if you're white like me and it's yeah.
Since I started using retinol, like I feel like my skin is burning whenever I'm in the sun. So
Yeah.
I already use
It's like
sunscreen every day anyways,
mhm.
but it's like intense. And
Mhm.
for the last like, I don't know, 5 years, I like if we're doing pool days or whatever, I
Oh
have
yeah.
to wear a big hat. Like
Oh yes, I have the mom hat is a must.
Tiffany Moon style, like the bigger the better.
Good. I mean, I love being in the sun like during the summertime, but yeah.
I
You know?
usually go for like a ombre tan. Like I'll let my
Yeah.
feet and legs get tan, but then the rest I'm like,
Oh, see, listen, I this is where I'm akin to Lisa Barlow and Catherine Dennis. I am a sunless tan person. I have my own machine. I
yes.
have 2 machines, by the way. One of them will be coming with me
Two?
to BravoCon.
Oh my
Yes.
god! Oh my gosh! Can I borrow?
Yeah.
I
They
might need that.
listen, I'm telling all these products, if they sell it on Amazon, I will put it in my
Yeah,
Amazon
put it on
storefront thing.
there.
Because like I also am using my Amazon storefront as my checklist for the things I need to buy before traveling and all of that. Like I'm literally
Yes.
and tomorrow's Prime
I'm
Day
stressed.
starts.
Yes, the next two
Check out
days.
my list. I have stuff down to like humidifiers for your room. I like because
Yeah. I put batteries and pens on my list when the whole scandal thing was going down. I'm like, get your batteries and pens now before your man leaves you for your best friend. Actually, you didn't even leave.
um okay. Well,
That's even
let's
worse.
see,
You didn't
where are
even
we at?
leave.
Oh yeah. So Taylor is saying in her confessional that you know, I do wear my heart on my sleeve. My emotions are out there. I can't take it when someone says, I'm sorry. I know I'm coming down hard on Taylor, but it's also because you are in your 20s. You're not a baby. Let's like, come on. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to have emotions, but wearing your heart on your sleeve to me means you don't have emotional self-regulation, which is what we parents try and teach our children when they're toddlers. um, you know, but this is what really stuck out in my mind when, Madison and them are saying, that they, have her back. But Madison says, could you imagine if we all jumped in the next time that anything like that happened? To watch all of them just eviscerate these men at the kneecaps. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like
Need
all it would
that.
take would be Madison and Leva because listen, Leva, I think she's one of the nicest people. And I also feel like don't fuck with Leva. She
No.
saves it. She saves it for when it's like you got to push her, but once you do, oh my God, it wouldn't even be a fair fight. It wouldn't. Those boys would just be like, I mean, Craig would be the only one that would be able to say much, but once I saw that Queens of Bravo posted that Craig is when he's in his Rinna Craig era, I can't unsee it, and I think it's brilliant. I think JT is also in his maybe JT's always been in his Rinna era, just the way they all talk about him. But he's like, I mean, he's full on. Great addition.
I
Um,
just never, can I say one thing about JT? I've
yeah,
never seen anyone inject anything through their clothes like that. And I was like,
same.
what is happening?
I
I
know
didn't know
it.
what to think of it, but I'm like, that stood out to me. And I
Yeah,
just
at
don't
first,
know.
for sure. I imagine people who are like him who've been dealing with it for that long. I would imagine that's like typical.
Yeah.
Just get it done. And that's tough. Like he needs to be careful with the drinking if that's
I know that's what was weird to me is that he's like hungover and like going through this. We're finding out about his diabetes as he's like talking about how hungover he is, and I'm like, wait a
Mhm.
second, what's going on?
Yeah, it's concerning. It really
It's
is.
scary.
Um, mm, Taylor thinks Austen is
I'm
a better
sure.
friend than he ever will be in like a relationship. He treats his friends so well. And eventually Taylor Madison just goes, Taylor, I think he is low key in love with you. And I mean, everybody's been saying this since last season. I remember when she and Austen went
He
shopping
said
for
it.
like boots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he said it. He said, I
Hmm.
am in love with you.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. Oh my God.
You did it? He said,
No.
well, maybe he didn't say, I am in love with you. He said, I love you. Or I am in love with, not I am in love with you. He definitely said, I love you.
It was
And
like
it just
heavier
the way
than that. Yeah.
the way
Mhm.
he said it, I was like, oh, gross.
Mhm. Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
manipulative. Predator.
Yep. Manipulative. Oh, well, careful with the predator word because if you say that on Salt Lake City, it might confuse people into thinking you're saying pornography. Um
Predator.
I will never get over that. You
You
call me a
called me
pornography.
pornography.
What? And even even Whitney's like, "What?" That was just so like
The way Heather just like came back from death, like
predator.
came
I was like,
predator.
"Girl, leave that bitch alone. She's dying, okay?" They gave 0 fucks about Heather in that moment too. They were like, "Bitch did to
Nobody
herself."
cared. I
Nope.
actually felt bad for Heather Gay in that moment because I was like, wow, if I was that way, I would be like, somebody help me, please.
Oh my God. Honestly, I so felt Heather when she was saying, I'm scared because that's that feeling before she started getting sick. I was like, oh my God, I'm scared too. And it's not even me. Like, it makes me scared. Like,
Yeah, I felt scared too.
I know. I just got chills, y'all. Like,
Oh
just
my
the way it
gosh.
was. Um, sorry. We're talking about all the gross stuff here. So this were ominous, famous last words that they all agree that they want things to be, harmonious. And Taylor says she wants just for everyone to get along. And Leva goes, "We are, because nobody's fucking them," regarding the men in the group. And I was like, oh, oh, mm-hmm. Um, okay, so we saw someone down south is doing really well. That's good. Um, they're in Kroger. Damn, Craig, our new pillow king. Um,
Pillow
I
money.
yeah, pillow king money. So I guess Rod
That
and
jacket, that fur jacket said it
oh
all.
my god, oh, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Austen and Rod, they've known each other for 7 years, and I guess Rod is super chill, refers to himself as Switzerland. And when Austen sits down, he's like, "How are you, non-dramatic man?" And Rod drops the news. He went out with Olivia. They made out a little bit, and he's interested in moving forward. And he just kind of wants to keep things kosher with Austen. And Austen says, "So you're saying that you're going to ask her out or something?" "Yes, Austen. He literally just fucking told you that." And then it's just this, yeah, 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 yeah. Already fucking asked her out, dude. Yeah, I mean, I guess Austen's affected to hear about this, but Austen, I don't even want to know uh, what all you and Shep were up to in Australia. I'm so tired of hearing about Australia, which they won't stop
Ugh.
talking about.
They
They're
probably
the
got
girls that went to
chlamydia,
Europe.
at least from the koalas.
I mean, you could have.
Even the koalas probably are like, we don't want that kind of chlamydia.
It's a different kind. Hey, you know what? But at least you can take something for that. So Shep goes over to Olivia's and he brought her still warm pheasant. Ugh. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to offend anyone, but oh my god. Um yeah, and so when they sit down and he's like asking Olivia, "So, what's Taylor's disposition?" Disposition, Caitlin, really? "So, what's Taylor's disposition?" And Olivia just goes, "She's single." Hmm. Listen, Shep and Tom Schwartz, I say that they both love a word of the day calendar. They really, truly do. And they love a thesaurus.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes Shep, in his obsession with that, he thinks that he sounds more superior sometimes saying, and look, speak eloquently, use words that are more flavorful and interesting. But sometimes when you're just sitting there talking to, I'm not saying Olivia's not intelligent. I'm just saying when you're just talking to someone like that. "So how's Taylor?" Like, make it easy for people sometimes. Know your audience is really my. And again, I'm not
Well,
calling anyone stupid, just.
I think he does know his audience and he uses it as a power play
Hmm.
to hold control and power in a conversation.
Well, there you go. That makes even more sense. Thank you. Thank you. You
Just an
know, it's
observation.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. Um, so, here's something that really so Shep tells her about Taylor staying the night at Austin's, and clearly Olivia's caught off guard by that because she had just been defending the friendship between Austin and Taylor. And she ends up saying, "No, I mean, Tay's my bestie. Don't you think if that were to be happening, she would be comfortable enough to tell me?" "No, I don't." Um, Now there was an interesting point Shep made, which is that Austin was so tongue tied, and we get the flashbacks of him. Well, you see, what happened was, and Shep says he usually fights back at stuff like that. That Austin does, and yeah, yeah, and as we see in the next episode, it's pretty clear.
Can I just
um,
say his Muppet mouth is so funny to me now after watching Special Forces and knowing that Muppet stands for most useless, pathetic person ever trained. That's all I can think of now when I think of
yeah,
Austin, Muppet mouth, most useless, pathetic
uh-huh.
person ever trained. That's just how it goes now. Sorry, I had to
Honestly,
throw that in there.
yeah, it is pretty funny that that's the double meaning in Special Forces. I have a feeling Madison didn't know that because I think,
No.
well, I mean, he kind of does have that mouth.
Yes, he
It's
does.
not like he doesn't have lips.
He's just like, Like
It's
very smacky.
yeah. It's meh, meh, meh. And I almost thought it was because maybe he'd had, like, braces or something, but you can see on his I mean, of course, I didn't have braces on my bottom teeth. I only had them on my top teeth, but, like, I don't know. I don't think he had braces. Maybe I don't know what I don't know what it is. You know, some
I don't know.
people
What
once
does that
they've
mean? I never had braces. So does that mean
you
like
look like you did. You have great
these
teeth.
didn't? But I might get Invisalign, but they were talking about removing a tooth to fit them all in. I was like, whoa, dude, calm down. Taking out a tooth.
Y'all
Get
don't even
lost.
I'm gonna tell you now, listen, it's not that way for everyone. Oh my gosh, I hate it when someone tells you something and then someone gives, like, a negative story about it. So, I'm gonna do something that I hate. I had to have a tooth removed after a botched root canal in West Hollywood, like, at this really nice dentist office. They left a piece of the cotton underneath my crown. And I was like, "I feel
No.
like my crown's coming off." I kept asking them, I was like, "Do I need to, you know, anything?" They wouldn't
Didn't your
even give
so your
me
body was rejecting it?
this was after a year. And I'm like, "Something's weird, like,
So
it's
it
loose."
absorbed?
They pulled it out. Yeah, they pulled it out. And I was like and they were like, "You have to have this tooth removed." I'm like, "Fucking awesome. Awesome."
Did they charge you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a surgery. I went to
Did you file a claim?
everyone says I should have. I was 24 and
Mm-hmm.
didn't know what the fuck I was doing. It was the most painful surgery I have ever had. It was easier
Did
to
we talk about this
recover.
before?
Hmm?
Because I feel like we talked
Yes.
about this with Shayna's mouth surgery.
Yep. Yeah.
Is
You and
this
I
the
did.
same surgery?
Yeah. It was easier to recover from
Continue, sorry.
childbirth.
Yes, you told me this. Oh
Because
my
at least you could
gosh.
do something about the pain of that.
Yeah. Oh my
When it's your
god.
mouth, you can't. Now, Invisalign, though, it just makes your teeth like your teeth are a little sore, is all. But I'm planning to get it myself. But, BravoCon ate that money up.
Yeah, BravoCon took away my straight teeth.
Literally. Um, so whenever Taylor and Olivia finally, they meet for coffee, that sweater Taylor is wearing, wow, big wow. Um, she is so darling that I just was like, okay, I see what you were trying to do here. It probably looked cute on Revolve, but it's not working. No, you needed to wear like leather pants with it or something to at least do. I don't know what. So Taylor calls Craig before, Olivia shows up and apologizes to him and invites him to the ski après themed day chaser event.
This whole theme was I was so glad that somebody who was it, Vanita or
Yeah.
Madison, somebody was like, girl, we live in Charleston. Because
You own
literally I would have
coats.
been like, what do we wear? Like I wear now I have to go get like ski clothes in
Yeah.
Charleston. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Y'all, Charleston is a beach town. It's right next to the beach. Did you know that? There are palm trees everywhere. They're right next to the beach. Yes, it gets chilly,
Oh, Taylor.
but I mean, and it's not a pre-ski. Okay, anyway. So Olivia tells Taylor about what was said at guys' night regarding Taylor and Austen having a sleepover, and that Shep was seeming a bit upset over it. And Taylor's very much, nothing is going on. I will put my hand on a Bible. Like, there's nothing going on. And then Olivia confronts her a bit more about how tongue-tied Austen was about it when he's confronted. And so then Taylor says this whole thing. It was a very long explanation that it was like, get to the goddamn point, and you could see that on Olivia's face as well. After New York, when we were both not in good places, which he was not in a good place with you. I was not in a good place with Shep, but we created like such a bond in the midst of that vulnerability and that just absolute brokenness. Austen was not broken over Olivia, but okay. And the two of us being pushed together because of our situation, I was like, Austen, is this something that we explore? I was the one that said it. I was like, is this something that we're meant to explore? And Olivia's like, you and him being together? Correct. Olivia is tearing up. Did you see that? Like, she's already tearing up looking at her.
I think this whole thing is crazy, but continue.
Yeah. Taylor, I'm shocked that Taylor's able to keep talking. I don't know if it's that like she just is like, okay, if I don't, maybe I just keep talking, it'll get better, but it didn't. Um, and she tells her, and he was like, right now, I'm just like, I don't know either. So Taylor calls her brother, asks his advice. And basically, her brother's like, why in God's name would you go from Shep to Austen? I'll translate that Southern talk from the fire to the frying pan to the fire, whatever it was he said, one of those colloquialisms. And Olivia's saying she's upset that, Taylor didn't tell her and tells her that this is the type of conversation, that Taylor had with Austen is one that she should want to talk to Olivia about, you know. But no, I highly disagree. Why the fuck would Taylor want to talk to her about that? She shouldn't have let it go on this long without something being said. But also, like, Austen's too messy to keep his mouth shut, you know?
He like wants to tell everyone drama. He wants people to talk about him.
He is one messy bee.
He tried to ruin Scandals. Like, not today, sir.
Nothing
No way.
could. That was bigger than all of us.
Yes.
Oh my God. And this is the moment that I'm talking about where Taylor starts tearing up and she says, it was a moment of weakness that I was needing my crutch and I wasn't going to God for my crutch. I was going to somebody else. Ma'am, no, now, honey, don't replace God with Austen.
Such a diss on God. Like, really? Wow. Blasphemous.
It's terrible. Like
Austen Kroll in place of Jesus and God. Taylor, come on now.
what? It's really like now you got me feeling bad for God. You just really that was so rude.
So rude.
Yeah. So Olivia's upset about the friendship aspect of, the trust not being there more than the Austen part. And Taylor swears on her life nothing physical ever happened when Olivia asks her about it. And so, Olivia leaves and gets in the car. She's bawling and she calls Leva.
Can't even get her key in.
Nope. Nope. Her key ignition. And Taylor calls Austen and tells him about it and how she thought Olivia would be appreciative. And Austen's basically just like, there's no good time to tell her. So we're going to now go into the next episode.
Like, this is not my first rodeo.
Yeah. It's not my first time screwing around with one of my good friends. Exes. So, okay. We'll take a very short break and we will get into the next episode. This one, a little less happened, but a few things did. Okay, friends, stick around. We'll be right back. Thank you for sticking around. Okay, we're back talking about the newest episode of Southern Charm. Well, we're getting more of the timeline, I feel like, in this episode and getting a few more things explained. For example, apparently the time that Austen and Taylor had this conversation, Olivia had only been in California for 3 days. Olivia, it's really coming through that she is very hurt by this. I'm wondering if Austen was making some sort of promises to her. Really, something more there has to be something more. Obviously, we know her brother passed, and that at this point in the show, it hasn't happened yet. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the confessionals were filmed that much, too close to when her brother had died, and I don't know if that's more so what that is coming through. But she was crying it just really seems like, I don't know, she was very hurt by, I would not be happy about this. But I'm still confused on what the relationship was with Austen. I don't know.
It feels like there was no relationship. They went out like one time. they like flirted a couple times on camera,
Mhm.
and they went on a date, and after that date he went home and slept with Sierra. Like that was the
Mhm.
extent of their relationship. I don't
Mhm.
understand why Olivia cares at all. And then if anything, if she's upset at Taylor, I feel like she should be upset at Taylor for even entertaining the idea of dating someone as ridiculous as Austin Kroll. Like that's the part that I feel like should
Mhm.
be the highest priority. Like, what is your problem? Why would
Right.
you date such an idiot?
I mean, fair. Um, I think because I do remember Austin said when he was at Winter House, he was trying to see if he could get Olivia to come, but production was not going to pay for that. And he was calling Olivia his girlfriend during Winter House.
Oh yeah, he
So it's,
did, didn't he?
yeah.
Oh, and he wanted her to come, but then like Sierra was like, "No,
Hmm.
you better not."
And also,
And
production wasn't paying for that shit.
yeah. And also she's not his girlfriend. I don't believe that for a second that they were boyfriend girlfriend or whatever. Or like was that after he slept with Sierra? That was, right? When was Winter House now? Oh my gosh, I'm getting my timelines mixed
Winter
up. We need a
House,
whole timeline of Austin and
yeah, I think they
Olivia
filmed
now.
Winter House like in March. So because yeah,
Yeah.
they that's around when they film it because Sandoval wanted to go to Winter House
Yeah.
and all that happened. Um there you go.
I love how they tricked him. They're like, if you film a Shane,
Well, and I love how our timeline is based off of when Sandoval happened.
I know
Um,
everything revolves around Scandal.
yeah, at this point it does. um so Taylor and Austin are really working so hard to justify everything with that, conversation that they had with each other on the phone. And in confessional, Taylor's saying that she and Shep were broken up for 2 months. And then she says, Austin and Olivia, were they ever together? I mean, it was very confusing. I just never knew exactly where they were. But at that moment in time, they were not on speaking terms. But no one's making sense at this point. I still don't get it. And I don't think Austin or Olivia get it either, quite frankly. Um, but I do kind of feel bad for Olivia. I don't like seeing someone that upset. Um, I don't think
Yeah,
it's
I
fair.
mean, I forgot about the whole Winter House, that's my girlfriend thing. So now
Mhm.
I'm like
Mhm.
rethinking everything.
Yeah.
um, I
Mhm.
guess Olivia could be mad. The biggest thing that sticks out to me is why on earth would Taylor even consider dating Austin? Like that, everything else I'm like, whatever, but why?
Right.
Why, Taylor?
It's just
It's
you
mind boggling.
you needed to go for someone completely different. Clearly.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
wild. I totally agree with that. Okay, so when we get to JT's event space, we did get a little snippet of Miss Pat, with her rack of moo that she needs a bigger closet. Um,
They
love it
have
when
a
we get
new
a bit of a Miss Pat cameo.
staff.
We haven't gotten much of her this season. Think we're gonna get more though. Um, so far, I'm really liking Rod as well, because he's telling that well, first Rod and JT are talking about Austin and you know telling sorry, I just lost my place in my notes. I'm like "Bleh." Okay, they talk about Rod telling Austin about how Rod and Olivia went out. And then Austin immediately telling him about how he saw her kissing another guy at Share House. And Rod, listen, I don't know if it's that they're trying not to get canceled, but I'm still here for it because Rod says that Austin was trying to slut shame Olivia and that she's single and she's trying to get to know, they're just trying to get to know each other. And he says, that's not how a gentleman's raised. And I was like, damn, Rod.
This is why I think Rod did watch, and he knows how much everyone hates Austin,
That ship.
Craig, and Shep. And
Mhm.
he's like, I'm not going to come in and be looked
Fair.
at as an F boy like them, even though I think Rod is an F boy.
Oh,
Because
totally.
that kiss was,
Awkward. No.
I hated
No.
it. It felt like a violation.
It was
It felt,
hated it so
I
much.
hated it. I was screaming. I was like, no! Like, it made me feel so uncomfortable. Ugh.
Because they're like sitting beside each other and it's like, oh, it was just too, oh
They're
my
on
God.
camera. It's their first date. It's the middle of the day. Like, what?
Oh
Were
my
they in a park?
God.
Were there children around? It was like, and he did it like so much. Like, it wasn't like a cute, like, mwah. It was like like, he just kept going
Yeah,
for it. And I was like, oh my God, you're so horny. It's disgusting.
it was too much.
It was
It
too
was too
much.
much. And she'd just eaten a gluten-free sandwich. Like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing screams romance like gluten-free
I forgot
sandwiches.
about that. Oh my God, it's even worse. They ate right before.
Make it stop.
Oh.
So while Taylor's setting up for the après ski event, Austen texts her that he's not going to come. And one of his biggest things that I noticed in this text was because of Olivia hating me. You are such a fuckboy here. Get out. But how about them zooming in on Austen scrolling through his text with her and then Austen zooming in on a picture of Taylor in his messages? Did you see that? Oh, yeah.
No.
And that's when Shep calls him.
I missed
Yeah.
that.
And here's what's interesting too. Clearly, Austen and Taylor have been coaching each other. And this is where Shep calls it out in his way. Because Austen tells Shep he's not going to the event. And Shep asks, again, if anything, happened between Austen and Taylor. And Austen says, hand on Bible. And that's when Shep goes, oh, suddenly now you're so religious.
Wait, and then
Gotta love Jesus.
Didn't Taylor say hand on Bible too?
She sure did.
Oh my God. Austin is, I think he does these things intentionally. He knows what he's doing and he does it on purpose. No one could be this DRS. I don't know if I was allowed to say it. I say DNS all the time now.
I mean,
James Kennedy.
Yeah, listen, we're going to enjoy James Kennedy while we can until his problematic shit comes
to light. Oh my God,
light.
did you see his latest post?
No. Was it
There's
bad?
Like smoke coming out of the floor and he's like dancing on stage with all these lights going. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Well, back over to Republic. Leva pulls Taylor aside and brings up that Olivia called her crying yesterday after she told her about the Austen thing. And I love Leva. I just do. In confessional, Leva's like, no one falls onto a dick. You know what I mean? Like, no one falls into a relationship. Yeah. I don't know the extent to whatever it was, but I just know that there is more to it, which is the part that bothers me. And yeah, agreed. Couldn't sum it up any better myself. So they agreed they're going to focus on their business and prep for the party. Craig's faux fur coat. He looks like he stole that from Tom Sandoval.
I was thinking about the fur that Tom Sandoval pissed on when they did their Palm Spring trip or whatever, and then he baked the piss into the coat by laying it out in the sun the next day.
I tried to forget that whole season, if you want to know the truth.
I will never forget Lala's face because they were playing Jenga and that he pulled said freestyle, a rap. And so his rap was awful, but he basically, all it was is that he confessed that he pissed on his fur coat from the night before and then he put it out in the sun to try. And that's when Lala was like, you baked the piss in your fur coat.
I'm not going to lie. That whole episode, I blocked out most of that episode. And y'all know I am like, I'm practically a historian of Vanderpump Rules, but that I forgot about that because I was like this. Oh.
I think it was, it might've been a never before seen or something.
I remember some, like there's an inkling in the back of my brain.
I think it was like, you know how they have like 20 something episodes a season. Then they have like 3-part reunion. Yeah. They would always do like a extra footage episode
Mm-hmm.
after. I think it was in one of
Mm-hmm.
those. I
Mm-hmm. That
think
makes
I was,
sense.
yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Um, so
Sorry
when,
for the tangent.
n- oh
That's
my
all I
God,
think of.
no, that's what we do. Okay. Tangents are always allowed. So when Vanita's getting ready, excuse me, Madison FaceTimes her, and I just want to live inside of Vanita and Madison's closets. I could not fit into a
I
single one
know.
of those items, but oh my God. Oh, the
Madison has
colors and
a
everything.
separate house as her closet glam space. Did you
Those
see her
Amazon
do
lives
her
are
tour?
no.
She did a tour of her house,
She has a casita.
and she has a whole, yeah, like a pool house or maybe a carriage
Casita.
house.
I
Yeah,
would say like a
some.
casita.
But yeah, she said it's like where she does all her glam, all her Amazon lives, all that stuff is in her other house in the
Damn,
back.
girl. She must be making a lot of money.
I bet.
Yeah. Um, so Vanita tells Madison that Leva told her that Olivia and Taylor are on the outs and all of that. And Madison is like saying in her confessional, roll the tapes. And we see how many times she said, Taylor, I think he's low key in love with you. I think he's low key in love with her. Thank you for rolling the tapes. Yes. So when Shep calls Olivia and tells her that Austin's not going to the event and tells her, that Austin told him about her conversation with Taylor. It's so many. That's what I mean. This episode should have been he said, she said, quite frankly. Um, because it's a lot of that, like game of telephone. But they decide they're going to ride over together, and Olivia's mostly annoyed because she's like, Austin, I can basically compartmentalize things, and this is so typical of him. See, the thing, I don't think we ever have to worry about Olivia and Shep, so they can hang out as much as they want. It's not a concern for any of us. Um, we get to the event, right? Taylor's most worried about letting Leva down, which tells me she really respects her, except apparently not enough to heed any of her advice. But, her entire goal of this evening is to impress Leva, I guess. It's not about selling Day Chaser, which I would think she probably gets a commission off of that. You need to sell it, babe. Unless she's still trying to get Leva to buy it for the bar. I don't know. I thought Day Chaser, for some reason, now I remember why. I thought it was one of those alcohol-free adaptogen drinks that is, but it's the one I'm thinking of is called Sun Chaser. There you go.
That seems like it would be a better fit for Taylor. And I would
Right?
subscribe to that. I would try it if it was like that.
I
But
thought
another alcohol drink in Charleston, I don't think that's what they need right now.
Well, I thought, like, what a brilliant thing to offer at a club is like one of those drinks that they're supposed to give you that quote unquote buzz, like Hi-Yo. I've tried those. But they're mostly like a lot of vitamins and stuff. And if someone didn't want to just have to have a soda water and go out with their friends and not drink, that would be a great thing to have at bars.
Oh
So
yeah,
someone
I've asked Leva directly, like, do you guys have table service, like non-alcoholic table service? Because I don't drink, and I would take a trip down to Republic and get bottle service, but I don't drink alcohol, so what am I
right.
paying for?
I mean, that makes sense. It's worth going. It's a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
then you'd have to have like a group where you're like, okay, you guys help pay for the table. Because I mean, Republic is surprisingly not as like large as it seems. And so you definitely want to have a table there. At least if it's only indoor time. Summertime, it might be a little more, it might be a little different. Um, but yeah, then everyone's showing up, and Craig in his coat are hitting Madison. At first, she's like, "You look like Shrek," but she really meant Sully from Monsters Inc. I dressed my son up as Sully from Monsters Inc. for
Oh,
Halloween last year, and oh, it was just so cute. I could die. Like just a big fluffy toddler that's barely able to walk. Oh my god, it was just the
oh.
cutest. And now I'm like,
But not looking like Craig. You didn't feel that way when you saw Craig, right?
no, no. No, I did. I mean, I don't know. I could compare him to a toddler quite often. He has been compared to a toddler quite often, actually. So, you know what? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I did think of it with Greg. um, and Leva ends up bringing up over at the bar that Austin's not showing up. And there was a little moment I noticed where she looked at Vanita when Madison was like, "Oh yeah, I already know," and she was like, "Oh, you told her? Like, okay, you already passed that along. That was quick." And they all again think that Austin should have sucked it up and showed up and, showed out, supported.
Yeah, he's
But
being a
when we
drama
get
queen.
he is. It's all about him?
Always.
Uh-huh. So Austin's at Whitney and Patricia's house, and did you see Whitney calls the bottle of chilled vodka French? It was Grey Goose.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, wait. What do
Is
you
Grey
say?
Goose French?
French vodka? Did he say French vodka?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Am
I
I
was like, oh,
stupid?
what's that?
Like
He goes, Grey Goose.
fucking Grey Goose. I mean, I'm not scoffing at Grey Goose, but I'm just like, okay.
You know, he definitely made it sound like it was super bougie and like fancy. And because I was like, ooh, what is it? He pulled out Grey
I
Goose.
know. I'm just interested. Like, I'm nosy, obviously. That's why we watch these shows. We're nosy.
Absolutely.
And Whitney's like asking why he didn't go to the party. And Austin starts telling him about how Taylor called him crying after her talk with Olivia. And Whitney, just right into misogynistic shit, is like, why does she cry all the time, this girl? And what century are you in? Why doth he speak in such a way, this man?
Because he's like 60.
I mean, it's not far from it. Now, I do have to admit, oh my gosh, there's a fruit fly and I'm son of a bitch. You motherfucker, get away. Don't even get me started about flying insects inside of this home. Okay. So then Austin's like, not everyone's a hardened asswipe like you and Shep. And he ends up relaying the whole conversation to Whitney and how he was scared essentially of Olivia rolling her eyes if he went up and hugged Taylor in front of her. You're scared of Olivia rolling her eyes at you? Like, that's what it is?
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Okay. And
So
Whitney,
scary.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, those big blue eyes. They're rolling. Whitney asks him, if it's because Austin and Taylor might have had something, a latent suspicion that's still hovering, and Austin goes, probably. And then he says, but so what if Taylor and I fucking made out? And Whitney goes, did you make out? And Austin is like, you literally can see him as a 7-year-old little boy trying to lie to his mother, but also knowing like, oh, she already knows. And so I'm going to pretend like, no. What if, we did? Smile harder, Austin.
Can I just say, this
Please.
is exactly what he did with Lindsay Hubbard and she touched my dick thing.
Oh,
like
my
he
God.
did it. He's the one who releases this information, but he also hypes it up and tries to shoot it down at the same time. Like it's like literally no one's talking about this except for you, Austin. And like, just tell us what you want to say. You want to say you made out with Taylor, or you want to say Lindsay touched your dick. Like, just say it.
Oh my God. You're so right.
Right? Like, he's so transparent. It's unbelievable.
Hence why I can compare him to a 7-year-old little boy, because no one is more transparent than a 7-year-old little boy who you're asking, did you throw the ball through the window? Who's telling you no, who absolutely threw the ball through the window.
Well, Austin's even worse. He's like no one even knows the window's broken, and he's holding a baseball and like a shard of glass, and he's like, "Oh,
Anyone
I don't know
outside?
I don't know if somebody broke the window. Well, is the window broken?
Yeah.
I guess so." Like, he's just
You're so right. He's like, has anyone looked outside through a window lately? So what if you looked outside in a window? What if that window were broken though?
Exactly.
No, I didn't break it.
Yes, that's Austen.
I'm like, we didn't even ask you if you broke it yet.
Yeah, exactly. That is so Austen.
And Whitney, Austen, and then this is funny is because as I was taking the notes, I was like, oh God, Whitney ends up saying the exact same thing I wrote down, which is that Austen starts trying to deflect by saying that he thinks Shep would have just gone for it and not said shit if Olivia was entertaining him. And that's when Whitney's like, well, the deflection. Yeah, okay, get him, Whitney. Get him. Get him, EP. Um
He's got to make that money.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So then when Shep and Olivia are arriving to the event, they're discussing the whole thing and how there's anxiety, but they'll show up and smile because it's a Southern way. And he tells her that they need to get down to brass tacks, which confuses her again. Like she's like, Shep, you and your whatever. And she tells Shep about the conversation she and Taylor had, and that the conversation with Austen was after New York. They keep saying after New York, after New York. Eventually, we finally discover, in my mind, when anyone on these shows at all on Bravo say New York, I assume they're talking about BravoCon. They were talking about the reunion. They must have filmed the
Oh,
reunion in New York because you notice they're flying them out, most people out to New
yeah.
York now.
I thought it was the reunion because when
Did you?
Salt Lake City talks about, they say New York too. I
Yeah.
feel like.
See, I get confused because I feel like it's one of those things how they don't like them to really say Bravo. And so they don't
Yeah.
say Bravo Con. And I'm like, y'all need to just say after the reunion.
See,
It
I'm
doesn't
like,
take me out of
when
it.
they say, I've heard some people talk about BravoCon on the shows, and
Right.
it's like so jarring to me every time because I'm like, oh my
Kind of.
God, they're talking about BravoCon.
Wait, they know about it?
I'm like, they were there. Oh my God, they were. Like, I
Like,
forgot.
God. Wait, you know about that? That thing that you're going to? That's all about you? Okay. Shit. Um So we're at the Day Chaser event, and Leva and Vanita say to JT that they're talking about Austen not showing up. And listen, JT, I keep saying it, but I mean, I think he's ready to be a housewife.
Yeah, he is. He's so good. I
He's
love it.
ready.
I love that he knows
Give
the
him Gina's orange.
assignment. He
Yeah.
knows the assignment. He knows that people cannot stand these F boys anymore, and he's calling them out and
Yep.
he's putting in the work. And I appreciate it. I'm here for
I'm here for it.
JT. I hope he doesn't let us down.
I agreed. And you know what? You can go ahead and give him Gina's peach. I'm fine with that.
Gina or Emily? I don't know which one you're talking about.
I know. Then I was like, shit, did I
Yeah.
get it wrong? No.
Wait.
Gina.
Okay, Gina.
No, Emily. I said Gina's peach. Gina's orange. Caitlin. Oh my God. How dare you? God. Get it together. So JT, though, then mansplains to the girls what he calls professional courtesy, which is bro code.
So
The way Leva was like, bro code. Leva's looking at him like, are you fucking serious? You think you invented bro code?
Oh my God, I love that part because I was thinking that too. I'm like, he's talking about bro code.
Mm-hmm. Professional
We hate
courtesy.
bro code. We
just,
hate
like-
you guys. Don't do that. Don't rebrand it with a new name.
Yeah, please. God.
Oh, JT.
He's funny though. He's
funny.
messy B. So he
Yeah.
tells them about Taylor staying over at Austin's. JT was like, I have this piece of information and I am telling everybody. He is just like, read all about it. I just somehow now, it's not because he's short, but also it does play a part into it. I do now see him in a newsboy hat with the newspaper out in the middle of the town square. Did you hear about how Taylor spent the night at Austin's house? He's just over and over.
Oh my gosh.
Over.
His little community of inns or whatever. He's going to have like a JT News newsletter.
Oh, no. No. I was like, wait, no. Who signed up for that email list? Tell me right now.
Can you imagine? Well, I think I'm actually really fascinated to learn more about his businesses because I think it's kind of fascinating, especially the interior design part of it, like
Yes, you and I love that.
his
Mm-hmm.
mommy's involvement. Yeah, I want to learn more about that business. I feel like there's something else going on there that's maybe unusual, but I would just want to learn about the business.
You mean the mommy part wasn't unusual
Yeah,
enough?
that part's weird, but by the way,
Um,
is Charleston known as like a furniture place? Because Joe Bradley's family is into furniture as well.
are they? I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I could see it being, I don't know,
Is it
like a
like a hub?
restoration hardware headquarters, but you know, either way, I still can't afford it. But there was something interesting here too that Madison says. Well, I'll say this. The last time I was over there, there wasn't a bed in the guest room
Oh,
because the
yes.
alibi is that Taylor
She
slept
went
in the guest
to go in the guest
room.
bedroom. Yep.
Hmm. And Love was like, someone go find out if there's a bed in that guest room.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah.
need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Which
We do.
also, I just don't like. I mean, I guess this is their reality or whatever, but it just feels too much like Scandal. Like, remember the whole,
Mm-hmm.
oh, did you hear that Raquel slept over at Tom Sandoval's house? And oh, she
Homes
slept
on
in the
the
guest room, or what did they
Mm-hmm.
call it? The social media room.
Listen, I'm just jealous of them having a social media room. I need a fucking social media room. Maybe
I
I'd
want
get
to
this shit
see
done.
the floor plan that says social media room on the house.
When they finally end up selling the house. um,
Oh my gosh.
this gem from Madison in Confessional, this just secures her spot on this show even more. When she says, I'm honestly shocked to see Olivia. I don't know a girl in America who would have handled the news about Austen and Taylor and stayed calm. I would have ripped Taylor's hair out and her nickname would have been Patches.
I screamed. I screamed so loud. Patches.
Patches
Madison's
in
so
Muppet
good.
mouth.
Oh, Madison. She's so
Damn.
good.
She is so funny. It's like,
So good.
oh, it's just must be so hard to be that pretty and funny at the same
I
time.
know. Her life
She'll
must suck.
sucks so much.
Did you know she also has like the best garden in Charleston or something?
Yes.
The
She's
fuck?
won Garden of the Week or the month like 2 times
Yeah.
in a row. I am
This
not a fan
girl
of
is just
bees
on
or any of the
fire.
things that sting. Everyone here knows that I am petrified of them, so that's the only thing that would stop me from doing something like that. But listen, girl, take pride. So then Shep and Taylor say hello to each other and they try to be cordial. And it is so incredibly awkward to me. The way he's like folding his arms, looking at her, and I just something about it reeks of an uncle that is very
Yeah.
uncomfortable because he's so disappointed in his niece because she's saying that, oh, I'm gonna take a gap year after high school.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yes. Totally. Oh my gosh. I feel that so
Yeah.
hard.
That's what it looked like.
Spot on.
How did you take this thing that Olivia said? I want to know your thoughts because Olivia and Taylor end up talking, and Olivia says to her, so, just really quick, I'm just here to support, and that's all this is. How did you take her saying that? Because I don't know. I can't make a decision on it.
I mean, I'm from New York, so to me, that sounds like Southern talk for something, like code, like
Mhm.
like a passive aggressive, just so you know. Like, I don't know.
That's
That's
kind
what
of
it
what I
feels
thought.
like. Yeah, because why say that? Or say it in a different way, like,
Or say
I
anything.
love you. Yeah, don't say anything. Or be like, if you wanted to point out, like, I'm here to support you because I love you, you could
Yeah.
just say that.
I mean, it almost feels like there was more of a falling out than we know about. Feels like the falling out
There is,
was
yeah.
talked about behind the scenes more. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's just I
I
didn't
think, yeah, I think Olivia's probably more pissed than she has communicated to Taylor at that point.
to say the least. Must be. It's the only thing that makes sense. It was just a weird thing to me to say. And clearly Olivia's like really anxious because she keeps checking her pulse and like her body temperature. Did you notice that? See, I get too
Well,
detailed sometimes,
I would
but
be sweating if I was wearing après ski in Charleston. Like that's just ridiculous.
mm-hmm. Same. Same. Um,
I'd be like,
yeah,
help
no.
me.
Oh my God, I run so warm-blooded. No, I feel you. Madison, this was why Madison hating when someone calls Austen her ex-boyfriend because she's married now. Anyway, that just was like a side little. Um,
That's, I
mhm.
love that. Actually, I would also be like, don't associate us together,
I mean,
please.
fair. Okay, fair. Um, So we go back over to Whitney's where he and Austin are, and they're stuffing their faces. And Austin's just talking about how much he's so thrilled with the alcohol. And Whitney quotes Martin Amis, and he says, "Alcohol kills the past. All the shit forwards, backwards. It's inconsequential." I have a feeling that was not the full quote, but Whitney, they decide to call Craig to invite him there. And then Whitney ends up, quote unquote, accidentally calling Austin. I think he was pretending to call Craig and called Austin on purpose instead. I don't know. Something was like, what are you doing? So Austin calls Craig and we hear, "House of Beauty, this is Cutie." And he's like, "Madison." And then they're like inviting her and Craig. And
Yeah,
then
that's
you hear
really
Vanita
weird.
saying, "Is it an open invite?" And they're like, "No, just bring Madison." Why?
Yeah,
That
that
was
seems
weird.
rude. That's
I
super rude.
agree.
That's rude.
I
I
feel
don't
like
like
they are
that.
always pushing Vanita to the side. And
They are.
I don't like it. I don't
Yeah,
like the
I don't like
implications
it
and I don't
either.
like it.
Mm-mm. Bad look.
Yeah, and it's also not a great look if Madison feels that type of way, especially about like hanging around her ex-boyfriend, going by herself, like because this is the South, right? Like who gives a shit? We know Madison's not going to be hooking up with these guys, but let's just be real about how, that they're going to talk about that. She went over there to
Perception.
hang out with three men by herself, which
Hmm.
I still don't even know why they needed Madison there. It was weird.
Yeah. I don't know. That whole situation, I was like, this feels so rude and inappropriate. Like
Yeah.
somebody's having a party and you're inviting them to your house where you're getting drunk because you refuse to go because you're a little bitch. Like,
There you go.
don't be a dick, Austin. Like, don't invite people from the party that you were supposed to go to. That's so rude.
To
Such a
to
little
your
bitch.
party that doesn't look like it's as fun.
It looked
So,
awful. It was
yeah.
pouring out and they're wearing ski clothes.
I mean,
I was surprised she got that many people there. I would have definitely not gone.
well, it's because it was at Republic, and so people were like, "Okay, fine, we'll go to Republic."
Yeah, maybe.
I like
That's
that
true.
place. So Craig invites Shep to go to Whitney's with them, and Shep goes to the bar to order a shot of tequila, and he's like, "Yeah, I want a beer, not one of these seltzers." And Craig got a beer in a glass for the car, so I guess he's just taking one of Leva's glasses to go in the car. I was like,
Isn't
"What?"
that illegal?
I don't know.
I just feel like if you're on a reality show, you shouldn't do illegal things, but whatever. Okay.
Oh, but Jenny.
You know, look where we are
This is
now.
Bravo. Shep tells JT about the relationship conversation between Austin and Taylor. And JT has, I would like maybe for YouTube, I can try and find a way to do this. Why did I say that out loud? Because now I'm going to spend way too long. I would like a side by side of JT and Lisa Renna with their shocked faces. God damn it. Why'd I do
I
that?
can help you with that. I'll whip something up.
We need to see the and JT and he clutched his pearls, by the way.
JT is good.
Mhm. So then eventually Shep goes to tell Taylor he's going to Whitney's, and he's like, "If that's okay." And Taylor's like, "It's not
That's
okay
weird.
that you're drinking that." And he goes, "Oh no, someone just like handed this to me." Shepherd And we get the flashback. But he brings up the Austen conversation and tells her he's surprised that they had this conversation so shortly after they broke up. And he brings up her getting so upset with him about the girl he banged in Texas 2 months after they broke up. And this was 2 months after they broke up. And wow, that was, hey, you know what, Shepard? Give you that one. That was fair point, because we get that flashback of her crying and yelling at him about that at the reunion. And then he does like this weird, like bug-eyed old man looking thing. I'm sorry, I sound like such an ageist. I'm not really, Shep's not that old. I'm not, but it's just like his gestures and the way he carries himself this season, especially, he's just aging himself more than the alcohol and drugs are. He does this, it's kind of a doubled standard time, and you know, and then when she brings up his cheating throughout their relationship, and he tells her, "Oh, stop it. I spent 6 nights a week with you for 2 years." Okay, bruh, that doesn't mean you didn't go do something and then come back
Yeah, what
home to
about
her.
he could have had a regular once a week?
Yes. I mean, do you remember when he was out of town with the boys last season and he picks a fight with her after she just said, "Okay, well, just be good tonight." She was doing his dishes and cleaning his house while he was out of town, and he picks a fight with her. I will never forget that. And that is where I'm like, Shepherd Rose, you are garbage. Was that harsh?
No.
Okay.
I want to see him. I want to see Shep on Special Forces.
Oh my God. I don't know. He might break a hip. I mean,
Ooh, not a hip.
not a hip. Actually, I would love to see him on it.
Yeah, I don't think he'd
That
be
is a
able to
great
do
idea.
it. He would leave. I don't think he would do it. He wouldn't even
That
sign
is
up.
That is such a good idea, though, Jenny.
Right? I have a ton of people that I would love to go on Special Forces.
That,
Erica Jane.
oh my
She
God,
needs to go.
only if she's on there the same time as Shep. She would verbally kick his ass, I feel like.
Yes. Oh my God, I would love that. You know who I wasn't expecting to be so sassy is Brian Austin Green.
I don't know, man. Listen, Megan Fox is a fiery girl, and for them to keep that going for that long
I
couldn't be
guess he's
boring.
sassy. I did not know. I was like, Brian Austin Green. Don't make me say 3 names.
God. Jenny, it's not his fault. There was already a Brian Green in SAG, so now we all have to say Brian Austin Green, Brian Austin Green, Brian Austin Green.
I didn't know that's why. Is that really why?
Probably. I assume. Just like if there's another Caitlin Marshall who tries to join SAG. Sorry. And then Shep, God, makes another good point. He says, "You knew everything about him regarding Austen, and you're still like, let's give it a shot." And she, again, I don't need Taylor to keep saying that we were broken people. And I guess they used to laugh at Austen's behavior. So, like,
oh yeah,
come
that
on.
part I was like, really? Like what?
Yeah. Not surprising, though.
I know,
And that's when Leva goes over and reminds Taylor it's a work event. So basically, a producer was like, "Leva, tell them to save this fight for another night, please, because this is we need something else." And then Craig, Shep, see the names. Why am I having a hard time with them? Craig, Shep, and Madison go to Whitney's, and Madison, when they get in there, tells the biggest lie, I mean, she's ever told, aside from the A-Rod shit. She tells Austen, "Boy, I've never talked about you so much without you being there." Really? You think? Mm-hmm. And so in confessional, Craig makes his good point. Usually Craig. Usually Shep's the bad guy, and now Shep has become the victim. So it's very hard to process all this stuff. And then he says, "The fact that Austen has found a way for me to feel sympathetic towards Shep is crazy." And so Austen and Shep sit down together, right? And I guess Shep tells Austen what Taylor seemingly didn't tell him, which is what all she actually said to Olivia. So it looks like Taylor left out that she told Olivia that she and Austen were considering being in a relationship with each other. And I don't know if it's that Austen is so drunk, he just went, "Oh, my best course of action is to pretend to be shocked by this," or if he actually is shocked by it. I can never really tell when it's like that, you know, fuckboys are really they're good at doing those shocked looks like, "Oh, I can't believe you would think that of me," type of thing.
I think it's more calculated than that. I think they hear it. They're not shocked by anything because they're probably expecting worse because they do worse things. And so when he hears that
Mhm.
that look is not really shock, it's more like, how am I supposed to react right now so that people, like, what's the right
Uh-huh.
reaction for the camera?
Uh-huh. That's a very good point. Very good point.
I don't know, I'm guessing.
Uh-huh. Very good point. And Shep lets him know this takes it to a whole other level with them talking about being in an actual relationship together. And the three amigos are in the kitchen, Craig, Whitney, and Madison talking about it all. And Craig asks Whitney what he thinks about it all. And he says that, well, knowing Tay and Austen, there was probably an exchange of fluids.
Oh, gross.
Why do I feel like Whitney does talk about sex in that way in general, though?
Ugh. Remember, Catherine said he didn't take his glasses off when they had sex.
I don't know. Would it be worse for him to take them off? Though, because you
I
know how some
don't
people, it looks weird when people take their glasses off and you're used to it. And it almost like looks like their eye is shrunk like 20 sizes. You know what I'm talking about? So I don't know. I almost feel like it'd be weirder. Like, Catherine, at least he wanted to see what you looked like.
I guess. I don't know. Wait, was he also wearing socks? Did she say he left his
Some,
socks on too?
yeah, something like that. Oh. No,
Gross.
no.
He's so gross. Oh my God.
Oh,
I can't believe. Ugh.
I
Why do you
just
have to say bodily fluids?
oh, or how
Gross.
about you just say I think there was penetration. That's even that word is even better. Like exchange of fluids?
Ugh.
Oh my god. Um and so I don't know if Austin was just too drunk to have this conversation, but sober as can be, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm trying to follow," because this was interestingly enough another moment where I ended up having my notes echoed immediately by the person who's being spoken to. Austin says to Shep that he says, sorry, he says, "I'd always thought that they're, and we were just like super tight and super close. And I didn't think that it was ever going to become like a point of connection or contention. I'm sorry. Apparently I can't fucking read either kind of thing. And then all of a sudden it was right. So you have to understand too, Shep, there was a lot of like outside chatter. And because I was like, what are you even saying right now? I don't understand. And
Outside
Shep just
chatter.
goes, "You're so vague all the time. You're so vague right now." And I was like, exactly. What the? I don't even think vague was the word. You're just like, I don't know where you are. And that's when Shep also says to Austin, "In vino veritas," which don't worry, friends, I took Latin in high school. And apparently Austin did too. Because he said, "Oh, in wine there is truth." And so then Shep says to Austin, "Speak the truth. Would you tell me if y'all hooked up?" And then Austin goes, sorry, I'm sure you loved that sound, friends. Um, Define hooked up. Dramatic music, and then we get to be continued. This season's good. It Southern Charm's just always good, I think, to be honest. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so much. Now, Jenny, I want to wrap with you giving us, because I know you have to go, the story of your encounter with Shep at BravoCon last year. Or
Oh
do
my
you want
gosh.
to share that?
I will say this. I've shared it on my podcast before, but I told you when you go into BravoCon, it's like overstimulation, a lot of adrenaline pumping. You see like people you love and like you're like excited. And then for me, I went to the SVIP room because I just needed to, like, it was too much. I had actually
Breathe.
went outside and smoked weed because I was like, I'm gonna have like a panic attack.
Oh my
So I went
God.
back in to go to the SVIP room to like just get myself together. And on my way, there's like no one around, and I see Shep. And he's like walking fast, and he's got his phone. I think he's like live or something. And I don't know what happened to me. My body, like, something took over me, and I felt myself about to go Shep, like in a angry way, you know. And I was like, oh my God. I stopped myself because I'm an adult. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot do that to anyone. Like, that's
Right. What am I
insane.
doing?
Yeah, like,
Uh-huh.
obviously don't yell at people. Okay. So I was like, I'm gonna ignore him. I go into SVIP. I'm introducing myself to like every single person. I'm
Right.
giving out gifts. I have my cards I'm giving out. I'm hugging, taking pictures of every single person there. Whenever they walked in, I jumped up. Like, people thought I worked in the SVIP lounge. Like, I was just
You're the welcoming committee.
going like nonstop. And
Uh,
Shep comes in the first day, and he must have seen, he definitely saw me in there, and he kept leaving and coming back, and I ignored him. I purposely ignored him because I felt that like anger, and I was
yeah.
like, obviously, like, I can't go talk to him, like,
No.
this is not appropriate.
Right.
So I think it turned into like, it was very obvious that like I don't have any intention to introduce myself to Shep or say hi or ask for a picture, nothing, right? And
Yeah.
I think that was my initial psychological attack that I was telling you about. Like, I didn't mean
More of a
to.
psychic attack.
Like, yeah, I didn't mean to, but I think it sent him into a spiral. He started he got drunk, and he just was hanging out in the SVIP lounge a lot. That's where I was like anchored for the whole
Mm.
BravoCon. I didn't leave, right? So I'm like, why the fuck is he in here so much? And every, like, not every time, but like sometimes when he walked by, because he kept walking by a lot. I'm like,
Oh my
why
God.
is he here all the time? And I would be like, like, like a actual physical reaction, like, oh my God. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think he caught on to this. And then that night, when I embarrassed myself in front of Chanel again, was there when Jen Shaw crashed BravoCon, came face to face with Andy Cohen. I eventually introduced myself to Andy Cohen. And then right after that, like, I had to work myself up to introduce myself to Andy. Like, I
Oh yeah.
paced back and forth probably about 8 times before I worked up enough courage to go actually do it. And he was so nice. And I just like, I was like, hi, I'm Jenny Blay. I gave him a lighter. And like, I didn't have anything to say. Like, there was no goal in mind. I just wanted to introduce myself. So I
Yeah.
was like, thank you, bye. And I walked away. But I was like on such a high from this, because if you can imagine, like, I had no idea I was going to meet Andy Cohen at all at BravoCon. I
Mm-mm.
didn't think I would even get near him, you know? So to actually get that far, and like, you know, I was, if you can just imagine walking away from that, I was on this like ultra high. And so I
Yeah.
went outside to go smoke a little joint.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there. I don't know if I was by myself or I think I was talking to someone. I don't know who it was, but then I can sense somebody is approaching, and it's Shep.
Oh God.
After all day, like, I'm seeing him back and forth all this time. I'm like, oh my God, this guy. And
Yeah.
he comes over, he goes, does anyone have a lighter? And literally he saw me handing out lighters all day. I gave one to Andy Cohen like 5 seconds ago.
Uh-huh.
And but the thing is, I had my Chanel purse, which is small, so I didn't have
Yeah.
like that much stuff with me. But I thought I had one with me, and I was like, let me just throw him a bone. This guy is like
Right.
obviously disturbed by my presence so
It
much
frightened
that
him.
he needs to come over and ask for a lighter. So I opened my bag. I was like gonna give him one. I opened it and I saw, I was like, oh, I gave my last one to Andy, and I just,
Oh
which was
shit.
true. And so I
Yeah.
just closed it, and I was like kind of giggling about it in my, you know,
Yeah.
like, ha, and I
Yeah.
just resumed like what talking to whoever. And then
Yeah.
and I just assumed he would like get the point. I was like, no, I don't
Yeah.
have one. So, but he was still standing there. And so as I'm like, I continue my conversation, he lingered and then put his hand on my shoulder and walked away. Like he was like, I don't know what he was doing, but he touched me. And I was like, what the
Like, what is the
I thought that
problem?
was so weird. And I'm like, ugh. Like if I had a rape whistle, that would have, I would have
No
been
shoulder
blowing it.
touching.
Yeah, like I don't. It's not that big of a deal. Obviously, I'm joking around. I'm being dramatic,
Yes.
but like I just thought that was so bizarre that was happening. The second day, same thing is going on all day in SVIP. I'm like, Shep needs to go. Like, why is
What is he
here?
doing?
Doesn't he have a panel? Like, why are you here? So, later that night, I saw Andrea Denver, who's been on my podcast before. I see him. We're talking. This is at the Gansevoort. Shep comes out of nowhere, wedges his whole body in between Andrea and I, like swiped his whole body onto my body, and like hugged Andrea. He's like, "Oh, hi, Andrea. So good to see you, bro." And Andrea's like, "Yeah, whatever." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you definitely saw this mofo all day yesterday. And like, you didn't need to come in here." So I just feel like Shep was doing that intentionally. And I'm not pressing charges this time, but
Oh, good. I'm sure he'll be relieved to hear that.
I mean, I'm just
press
messing
charges
around,
for
but
him, being all up in your business, preventing you from continuing a conversation with Andrea Denver. That is, first of all, don't interrupt that time.
I know I should have like checked him.
Hell.
No, I'm just playing around. I feel bad for Shep because I like if what was happening is reality, my perception, he needs some serious therapy.
Yeah.
If someone could like make you spiral from like not introducing themselves or like saying hi.
I mean,
Maybe
Shep.
I'm also just like being very self-centered and
No, it's perfectly fine. Listen, I support it.
I swear he was stalking me. Stalking is a harsh word, but I'm like,
Light
seriously,
stalking.
Shep, you need to go away. Yeah, it was late stalking at
Mhm.
BravoCon for sure.
Yeah.
But maybe, like that behavior, I was thinking about it while I was at BravoCon. I'm like, this is such a weird experience. Like, I would never do this for anything else. And like, people have this same kind of energy for sports or for like other activities. And
100%.
I used to feel shame about it, but like, I don't anymore because I'm like,
Good.
whatever. This is my Super Bowl.
Yes.
Leave me the fuck alone.
It is absolutely our Super Bowl. And I can't wait to hang out with you there.
I know.
You know what, friends? I want you to go follow. I'll put this in the show notes, obviously. But Jenny, tell everyone where all they can listen to your podcast and find you.
Yeah, so my podcast, I'm actually on a break, but I'm starting up season 5 soon. You can listen on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. I think they just got rid of Stitcher. I don't know what the other ones are. iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. Also, I have my YouTube channel, Jenny Blaze. So I put up my podcast there, but I also have other clips. Recently, I did an interview with Marlo Bueno, who's good friends with Jen Shaw. I also did a video series on Bethany's interview with Rachel Leviss. I did a breakdown of her ad revenue, estimated.
Yes, that was fascinating. That was very
I was just using the data that I had. But yeah, and then I'm on social media, Bravo and Blaze. You can find me there. I'm most active on Instagram, but I do try to live tweet when I watch the shows when they air because I find that's kind of like where everything started for me. So I like to stick with my roots.
Yeah. Don't forget where you came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, friends, you know now where to go find Jenny. Leave a cute review. They make us happy. Subscribe to YouTube, and I will see you guys here soon. I'm trying to play catch up this week, so get ready to see this face a little more often. Okay, bye, friends.